Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're tuning in from. We're doing another setup Saturday. Today I'm playing solo. Jack is out. He logged in to press go and then logged off again. We're going to dive right in. Normally, Jack does the macro. I'm just going to go over some key points today. Biggest one, I think, is that Vanguard is now dibbling in crypto ETFs. They've always been opposed to it. They said when BlackRock launched their ETF products that they'll never list it. A couple of years later, they flipped the script. Now you're thinking, who or what is BlackRock? Is Vanguard? Well, it's quite simple. You have BlackRock, and then you have the big brother, Vanguard. They have more money under their portfolio. They have the biggest 401k. They have the biggest this. They have the biggest that. Just another BlackRock. They're not launching their own products. They're just offering BlackRock's products to their clients. Big shift. This also made that the options for IBIT, there's a certain limit to the contracts. I believe it was 25,000, and they made it so that there's now 100,000 options. So way more people can dabble in options. Also pretty big change, so more people can get exposure. Of course, this doesn't change for you or me. It's for the big boys, right? And the biggest second news was Sailor. He did another round of raising money, and usually when he sells his stock options in the future, or his debt, basically, that it's rolling over, he bought cash this time and not Bitcoin. I did buy a little Bitcoin, I think, is in here somewhere. I bought 130 Bitcoins for around nice 650,000 Bitcoins. But the biggest news is he made a cash reserve. Now, usually if he does a round, he buys Bitcoin. It's his orange dot. This time it was a green dot. He teased it like, it's going to be a green dot this time. People were like, what could be a green dot? And most people were thinking, it's BCH, Bitcoin Cash, because that's a green Bitcoin logo. It wasn't, but if you look at the Bitcoin price or Bitcoin Cash price over the last months, it's been pretty up. It's been performing better than Bitcoin. But at the point, it was cash. He raised $1.4 billion, which is quite a lot of money. Now, why would he do this, right? I could have just bought Bitcoin. And this is where we go a little bit deeper into the mechanics of how stock prices and holding Bitcoin as an asset works. I go to this tab. And here you have the NAV. You'll probably seen this pass by on crypto Twitter. If you've been on crypto Twitter last week, everybody was screaming, "Oh my God, it's gone under 1." You can read it here yourself below with what this means. If Bitcoin or if NAV is above 1, it means that the stock price of MicroStrategy is above what they're holding in Bitcoin. If it's below, on the red there, like below 1x, it is trading at a discount to Bitcoin value, meaning that they hold more Bitcoin than what the company is worth. Now, you'd think it's an appreciating asset over time. It should always be above 1. And the 1x is the price or the value that everybody tries to defend. So that's what Sailor is trying to defend. So why did he raise cash instead of Bitcoin? He needs to protect this 1x NAV, basically. You can see it bounced a little bit. I believe, I'm not sure what Monday was, but it probably bounced on the news that he raised cash instead of Bitcoin. Now, you're thinking, it dipped under 1. It's not that bad. How much of a discount can you go? Well, I'll get bad news for you guys. If we go to the last bear market, and we go to Grayscale, who basically precedes Sailor's playbook of buying a metric shit ton of Bitcoin. You can see here, 2020, they were trading at a 20% premium, 40% premium, so that's 1.2x, 1.4x. And minus 10. Oh, we're going deeper, minus 20%, so that's a 0.8. Oh, 30%, 0.7. Oh, all the way down to a discount of 48%. So trading at 0.52 ish, 0.5, like let's say 50%, like at half and half discount, meaning you could buy Grayscale GBTC, it was back then, I believe it's called, at a 40% discount to what the Bitcoin is worth. Now, Sailor hasn't sold any Bitcoin, but this downward spiral and negative premium caused Grayscale to sell Bitcoin, which was basically the reason why you had a bear market, because Grayscale bought hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin and they had to sell it because they were trading negatively compared to their stock value. And this did rebound and went back into positive. And you'll never guess when the crypto markets start to rebound. It's when this starts to trend up. So that's why it's a big deal. If the NAV from MicroStrategy goes negative and keeps being negative, you can be rest assured that it is not good news. And that at one point, whether he likes it or not, he'll need to sell Bitcoin. He always vouched, "Oh, I will never sell Bitcoin." But okay, maybe he might not. It's okay. But there's other companies copy pasting this playbook, and Sailor might not sell, but other companies will sell, and then you get the same scenario where you have here, where it's just endless sell pressure on Bitcoin because people who bought, or companies who bought Bitcoin as an asset, need to sell it in order to keep their stock price alive. We live, unfortunately, in a world where capitalism is key, and it's all about short-term rewards, working towards the next financial quarter, next book year. You need to post profits. There's no long-term thinking or investment that is not rewarded anymore. And that's what you get from this. You get short-term rewards, and you stabilize your books by selling the digital assets, which just creates a negative spiral, debt spiral. Now, it's not happening right now, as you can see. Let's go back to the previous screen. It's at 1.01 right now. Nothing to be worried about, but it's a shift in thinking of Sailor and of MicroStrategy, that they raised cash instead of buying Bitcoin. Right. That's it for the macro parts. As usual, Jack does the macro parts. I'm sure he could go over global liquidity and the rate cut odds, which jumped up high, by the way. I think we covered that last stream, but the odds completely flipped. So it was like, oh, there's going to be no rate cut anymore. And now, oh, definitely like 80% odds that there's going to be a rate cut, stuff like that. All Jack's departments. I've said this multiple times on stream before. It is not, I don't like trading macro, but unfortunately that's the game, right? So you need to have your, how do you say it? Your hands on the pulse. You need to follow it loosely. That's why we do this stream. Usually it's Jack's department to do more macro side. I'll just give you like the little ticks, some more about the charts and the technical analysis. So let's jump into that. Yeah, this doesn't look so good, guys. If we zoom out a bit on the weekly level, we lost the yearly open. We did a little retest. You can see this here. We retested this and we got rejected. And then we had a nice big candle up here. It's a single print almost. We started to fill it and now we've leveled off. First things first, when I see losing the yearly open and then retesting it, my bear PTSD kicks in hard. And what I see then is this. This is 2021 into 2022. Yearly open, we lose it, we test it, we don't reclaim it, we lose it, and then we just get a slow bleed for the rest of the year, all the way down to 17,000. Yearly open to the bottom here is a whopping 61%. Yeah, that's why I have PTSD seeing a bearish retest of the yearly open and not reclaiming it. Does not look that good. I saying we're going down 61% from here? Absolutely not. Very unlikely. The game has changed. There's massive companies buying massive amounts of bitcoins. Nations are buying, nations are mining. Regulation is ramping up fast. That's why the big companies are in. We won't see a 61% retrace from here. It's very unlikely. But doesn't mean that it looks good. If we go back to the current charts, it's exactly the same, besides that this was now end of the year instead of start of the year. But for me, bearish retest of the yearly open. We didn't make it. I was long from up here, hoping that it would take out some of these highs here. 60, 95, 96, 97. Well, best bullish case, pump over 100K, like in the 102, it's like this high volume node here. Didn't happen. We just rolled over. We have a little BART here, a little BART here, and now little BART here. I'm surprised it didn't nuke further. I am short from up here. I was expecting at least like the base of the pump with front run it, which is good, I guess. It means there is like still interest in supporting these levels, but we're trading into this like low volume area. And it's a bit of a ghost land. Plus, it's into the New Year's. People are winding down their activities. They're looking to rebalance their books, so that causes a little bit of selling pressure. But overall, it's not looking that good. We'll zoom in a little bit more to see if we can find some setup throughout the week or day, some intraday plays. But I'm not seeing it. All I see is, we have to zoom out a little bit more to put some levels on. We have this area here that's been defended in the low 80s. And we swept that as well here. And you had your bounce. I'm using daily close instead of the wicks here. Well, we swept that as well. We first tested it, you can see. We had a little testeroonie here. And bounced off, rolled over. So yeah, logical next place is again low 80s. Unless it starts to reclaim. Always possibly first thing is the monthly open. Then the yearly open. And above, we can start dreaming about 102, 104. So this is a range you can play. If you're not in a short yet, I wouldn't do a little retest like this. Wouldn't take it. I think it's a little too risky R&R because it can go for that yearly open. And like I've always said, start drawing your boxes, start setting your alarms, and look lower. So I'll have to zoom out a little bit for lower. What's below here? Quite simple. Yep. Magnet. Your order block here, which we dipped into. So another retest of like low 82 to 79-ish. And below that, yeah, we go deep, right? This was, I'll also use an order block here. Yep. This was your resistance. Where's my little drawing figure here? Resistance, 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 and we yeeted through it. So we never retested it. So that puts us in the low 70s into the high 60s. But the problem then is right now you do not have a structure break on a higher time frame. Low, low, high. And for this, right now, it's still a lower high. Sorry, higher low. But if we start closing down here and we sweep this low, we have a structure break. And then I'm starting to point towards here, where you have that structure break as well. Yeah, that just screams for continuation down. I think the last couple of streams, the lowest I was drawing order blocks and support lines was this 60 area, high 60s. Below that, I don't even want to think about it, because if we start trading, maybe here. I'm sure if you draw it to the right as well, that it gets into this area. It's probably a little higher then. I'm gonna do it very wide. It's not super accurate, but resistance, failed breakouts, breakthroughs, holds, hold very hard, but barely, and then reclaimed. So yeah, then we're starting low 60s, high 50s. That is not something I want to think about. If crypto starts trading at low 60s, coming all the way down from what was it, 127. Oof, that's minus 50%. That is, I don't even want to think about having a structure break on the weekly time frame. That is absolutely PTSD. Like I've said multiple times before, I've been focusing more on stocks, and I think if you read crypto Twitter, everybody has been pivoting to stocks, or they're talking about pivoting to stocks, because the return here is abysmal, right? If you started buying Bitcoin at the start of the year, unless you bought the dip into the low 70s, you're underwater. You're barely break even now if you didn't take any profit. It's not something you want to see as a value investor. Let's see if we can find a setup for the start of the week. It's weekend. There's no volume. Market makers are snoozing, so I don't expect any big moves here. The only news that can move the markets on weekend is war, unfortunately. But let's zoom in a little bit. As you can see, it's flat, right? Just flat, 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 flat. It happens. I think ultimately this will just roll over. We're gonna test these lows here into 86, I think it is. Yeah, around here, 86. And then we'll see if it like wicks and gets above it, or if it just slow bleeds. I think I've shown this last stream as well. If you're catching bids on support levels, let's say you have your bid in this box, you want the price to do this. Boop. What you don't want is, I'll use another color for that. There we go. You don't want this, a very slow bleed. And sure, it might bounce a little because it's support, but retest it. And then if it doesn't break higher, it will do that. I just nuked to support. That's basically what we've seen here, right? It is just slow bleeding into a leg down. I think it will slow bleed into a leg down. It is what it is. If you're trading crypto, you need to be able to play both sides. You need to be able to long and short. Longs will always be better over a long enough period. Only using longs will make you more money, but the problem is risk assessment, risk analysis, and being able to preserve the capital you've gained from longing. If I was you and you're not in a position, I would just AFK. Put your alarms. If you have trading view, press the plus, put an alarm. You get your little box or not. There we go. Write on why you want to buy here. I've mentioned this before. I could put an alarm here. I can come back next week and be like, cool, my alarm hits. Well, I don't know why. Why is this an important level? I don't remember. So write in why you want to have an alarm here, why you want to buy here. Maybe it's a sell if it's higher, why you want to sell here. and then you can configure it to your liking. I'm pretty sure you can even make it send emails. You can hook up an API to whatever you're running. It has an expiry date from, I think, this is a month. I think you can go up to 3 months. Yeah, this is 3 months. Fiddle around with it, but set alarms. And the center rally that I was hoping and looking for is not coming. If we grab some total charts, throw on the weekly. The structure still looks okay. High, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. Technically, I guess, but not really convincing. And this still, for now, is a higher low. I could probably maybe even go this low here, as long as it doesn't close below this. We would call it technically a higher low, but I'm not too convinced about it. But yeah, this is chugging along. Maybe it goes higher, maybe not. I don't think it will resolve in 1 or 2 weeks. I think we'll have to wait until the new year. Next week, is it next week? Maybe the week after. I think it's the 15th, so it will be the week after we have the rate cut decision. I can probably whip that up real quick. Share this tab instead. Here it is. Your rate cut. As you can see, it flipped from no change, 54%, to a decrease, and then it's been steadily going up, and it's almost 94% right now that they're going to cut on the 10th of December. So that is next week. It's not in 2 weeks, sorry. Usually we see some sort of rally into these events, but currently I think this is priced in because the flip was quite apparent. We readjusted and we had a leg up on this flip, I think. We go back to our Bitcoin charts, share this. I think the reversal was somewhere around here. 100% sure it might have been around here. And then we had a little leg up, not too much. But for now, this more looks like a dead cat bounce. Very hard to trade because besides the yearly open, there wasn't really a clear level here, honestly. It doesn't look too good. I wouldn't overtrade crypto right now. I'd just be chilling. Alts look worse than Bitcoin. You have your one off. Let's look at ETH-BTC. I haven't done that in a while. Our endless bleed ended in a nice bounce. How much is that? Yeah, 100% bounce. It's not too bad. That's your weekly. Very crude levels. This were levels, but this was our mid level. And we swept into here. We bounced pretty hard, actually. Harder than I would have expected. But yeah, Ethereum, you have, what's his name, Lee, buying 3% of the supply at 4K, and it still can't hold barely at 3K, which is a big level. It's just supply overhang that might be dumped later onto you. I wouldn't touch ETH even if ETH-BTC looks good. If this gets like a capitulation into like this, then I might think of nibbling a little bit ETH with Bitcoin, but otherwise it's just a nice little downtrend. Probably go until it nukes. And the sad or the hardest reality about ETH-BTC is ETH-BTC can crash if Bitcoin goes up, but ETH-BTC can crash when Bitcoin goes down as well, and ETH just crashes harder. It's not really a chart I like to do TA on. More of like defined levels, like where do I want to take profit, where do I want to buy, but not to like intraday trading. This is definitely not a chart where you zoom into like a 5 minute chart and you start drawing lines. That's not what I do on it, at least. You probably can. I'm sure somebody figured it out, not just me. Anyhow, enough rambling. Half an hour solo is pretty hard because I'm definitely not a streamer. I'm just here to aid Jack, and Jack is AFK. But TLDR, we had positive news from Vanguard. We had Sailor raising cash instead of Bitcoin. At least he didn't sell Bitcoin, I guess. We have a rate cut coming. They've been saying that, starting December, we're going to do quantitative easing. Or, well, stop quantitative tightening, not start quantitative easing. There's still a little stress in the financial system. And AI and nuclear had a big drawback, probably also why Bitcoin stalled a bit, I guess, this week. And I don't know, crypto has been underperforming. It's been a really hard asset to trade. And more people are fleeing. And I think it is time capitulation, because price capitulation, we're at minus 32%, which is usually the cycle. If we have a bear market downtrend that it retraces 30%, this time it's speed run that minus 32%. I see no reason to like full-time focus on major assets like Bitcoin when there's stock markets that are easily be accessible, more regulated, easier to cash out. But don't get me wrong, I'm long-term, you need to have Bitcoin. And why are we trading crypto? For me personally, it's to acquire more Bitcoin. The more Bitcoin I have at the end of the day, the better. And the better, or the lower my entry is, the better. You need to have Bitcoin in your portfolio regardless. It all depends on how much. You have people who are tourists who are here to gamble. And most people don't make money from that. If you start investing for the future, this chart looks still pretty bullish, right? Very crude. Not even. Let's just take the wick. Retests. You have your massive breakout, your retest of your resistance here, over here. I'm sure if you zoom in, it will be more choppy. But we tested this here. If we do the wick, we did have resistance. Yeah, low 70s. Low 70 to 60s. I'm trying to think why I was thinking for myself I need to buy from 79 to 72. Probably because it's this support here and below this. But yeah, a retest of this, it would be a structure break, but not too bad. Zoom outs, this is an asset you invest in for 5, 10, 15 years, honestly. And will it matter if you bought today or you buy 5 or 10% lower? Depending on how many millions you buy, it might depend more. But if you're throwing hundreds, thousands, $10,000 into it, I don't think it will matter too much. Have crypto allocation. If you don't own Bitcoin, it's a good time to start allocating. The lower we get to our imaginary support and resistance boxes, the more you should buy and have it in your portfolio. It's nothing more I can say. And I'm gonna call it here. Let's see. Good morning, Chris. We're seeing some, expecting some more down as well. Yeah, that makes sense. And Chris here is absolutely right. You could have bought anything, including treasuries. Treasuries are like a fixed return, and you could have outperformed Bitcoin the year. It's true. Year to date, so from 1st of January, Bitcoin is down year to date, which is pretty sad considering you have stocks, AI, nuclear going 10,000% up And don't get me wrong. If we go to where is my nuclear lists, Aspi down 62%. Camaro, not too bad actually. Oh wow, I would have thought. Oh, only 22%. Interesting. But this one's an old company. Energy fuels down 56%. Nano, just more speculative, down 54%. SMR, New Scale, also more speculative, 70%. Oklo, probably the biggest one and the most known one, also down 58%. That's just not Bitcoin, right? That has a little drawback, but the big difference is yearly open 800%. Bitcoin is in the minus on the year to date, and that's why people on crypto Twitter are going into stocks, because you don't have these returns on Bitcoin anymore. And sure, yes, you can absolutely have this return on meme coins. I'm thinking Doshi. Let's quickly whop up Doshi. Wrong chart. We need something with some more history behind it. Yearly open Doshi, 1600%. Probably more because it's not even connected correctly. So can you have these returns in crypto? Absolutely. You can buy $10 million in Oklo and have 800%. If you buy 10 million in Doshi, you cause the spike yourself. The biggest difference is liquidity. You have hundreds of thousands of people trading Oklo. You have 100 people trading Doshi. Probably more than 100, but you get the point. It's harder to scale in more money. And when you're trading with like $1,000, $10,000, or even $100,000, you won't notice it. But if you start going into millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, getting $100 million position open without moving the price too much, so you don't fuck your entry. On big assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, it's possible, but the lower you go down on your list, the harder it is to get allocation for that size. So yeah, you can get 1600% return in crypto, but not for the size. You can get that with stocks, and that's the big difference. Anyhow, I'm gonna call it for today. No. Oh, absolutely right. I'm sorry. I was showing Eat BTC. Hold on. We quickly go over the nuclear stocks again. ASPI down 60. CCE, older company, a bit harder, down 30%. Actually, not that bad. So it would be more. Energy fuels, not triple, 4 times U, down 55. Nano, smaller nuclear company. Some more also smaller nuclear company, down 70%. Oklo, probably the biggest name in nuclear right now, down 60%. Point being, there's also drawdown in other stocks, in other assets besides crypto, the ones that are crypto, that's crypto Twitter thought about. But the yearly returns, even to current prices, 300%, 400%, 800% to the top. You don't have that in Bitcoin, and you can have it in altcoins, but you cannot size tens of millions into altcoins. Does that matter for me or for the average viewer who doesn't trade 100 millions of dollars? No, and that's why crypto is still popular. And that's why I'm also still in crypto. I don't think I'll retire on a single Bitcoin trade, but you can retire on a single nuclear trade if you throw in 100,000 of your hard-earned dollars or euros in something like ASPI. But I need to change the chart for this to show the valuation of the company. Where is this not showing? Oh, I'm on Bitcoin. I'm going to go ASPI. There we go. Market cap 850 million. This can 10x, right? If you throw in $100,000 on a million, but it's hard to retire. You think you need 2.5 or 3 million to comfortably retire. But this 10x is 8 billion. If you look at companies like Oklo, who also don't have a live product, trade at 20 billion. So that's 15, 16, 17x. 17x on 100,000 is already retirement money. Other companies, they're all trading in the billions, is what I'm trying to say. CCA is different because they're also a mining company, by the way. So yeah, my dark horse for nuclear, if you haven't watched streams yet and I haven't talked about it, it's OSPI. I bought a shit ton more, around 6. I think my average is now around 6.15. Yeah, this is my dark horse. This is the one I want to retire on. I'll let this ride 10, 20 years. We'll see where it goes. Is it 0? Guess I'll do a second shift at McDonald's to pay for the down payment on a house one day. And if it goes to the moon and this goes 20 billion, 30 billion, maybe $50 billion market cap, because I do think it has the potential. Yeah, then you're retired. Then say you need $3 million in the bank just on interest to retire. Then you put in 60,000, so you only need a 50x. This is then 50, 40, 45 billion. Right? It's not impossible, to be honest. But again, this is just me chilling my retirement stock, or the one I want to retire on. I can do some TA on this quickly if you'd like. Below $5, I think we can add. Which is the one? Many indicators. Here's the one I wanted. The key levels. If you start buying above or around the yearly open, I think this is the one where you want to buy. I added here and I'll double my stack around the yearly open, like 4.9, 4.7, maybe a little lower. This is where I'll go all in and I'll see where I end up. Anyhow, enough for me today. My throat's getting tired. 40-minute stream, not too bad for a solo. Next week, we should be back with macro and crypto. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. I think the most important thing that you should have learned today is set alarms, as always, and write down why you want to buy around those areas or sell in those areas. Right. Have a good day. And I'm actually not sure if I can end the stream because Jack has started the stream. Interesting. I'll have to message him. How can I make this exit as graceful as possible? I can stop sharing my screen.